Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Luna. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. Now, before we get into the video, as always, there are donation links down below in the description where you can donate and help the Ukrainian refugees and help the Ukrainian military. Any support, any donations will be very much appreciated. I personally have nothing to do with those links. The funds go straight and directly to those official companies and to our Ukrainian military. So yeah, thanks for all the support, guys. Now let's get into the video. Jumping into the daily chart here. So we have our Fibonacci retracement. I'm just going to zoom out. This is the same retracement that I have been using since what, like May, June of last year. And basically, this is the swing high that we had in March, and this is the swing low that we had here in May. Once we had that capitulation from there, we saw this incredible move to the upside. We broke through the first fib level, back tested it as support, broke through the 1.272 consolidated in between the 1.414 and the 1.272 quite a bit. And since then, we haven't really looked back. We had this little reaccumulation phase over here, or accumulation phase, I want to say, and from there we broke out once again. So what are we looking at? So we did print a new all-time high at $120. So we were targeting the second fib level here at $127, actually 128.4, but we didn't manage to get there, obviously, and I did give you this a blue rectangle zone, which was a zone where you could take profits and, you know, potentially buy back and lower. So from the top of the rectangle, you're down 14%. So if you took advantage of this potential trade, good for you. Right now, it seems that we're coming back down to retest the 55 EMA on the daily chart, which is the red line. And the yellow line here is the 20 EMA moving average. I'm going to change the color of this trend line so that you don't get confused. So we're looking for support right now. Now let's say we lose the 55 EMA. What then? What do you look for? Well, then I would look at $76 or $77 because that's the swing high that we had over here. We did bounce off of this level at the end of January here. So this is a nice support level that we are going to bounce off potentially if we lose the 55 EMA and we head into a deeper pullback. Now, jumping into the Fibonacci levels here, we have the 1.618 that we did break out from, right? So we did break out above that level, but we didn't have a back test of support. So that is potentially what you're going to get here, a bounce and a continuation, right? Because even if we did get that, that would still be the continuation of the uptrend because you have a high, you have a higher high, you have a low, you have a higher low, and you have a higher low here because that's where you potentially are going to bounce off of from. And then you go and take out the second fib level. So everything's looking good for Luna. Really, this asset is, you know, it's mathematically impossible for it to start going, you know, to get back. It's impossible for it to get back to these, you know, low numbers here. Obviously, if we see an all-time low market crash, a huge market crash because of some black swan event, then obviously, you know, Luna can crash hard, as will other altcoins and probably Bitcoin. But, you know, so far we don't have that, and it may happen. Obviously, black swan events come out of nowhere. They can happen anytime, but you should be ready for those with some stable coins. But as for right now, $65.87 is the level where I think Luna will go, which is the lowest level where I think Luna can go during the next, you know, pullback that we're going to get. If it goes lower, obviously just dollar cost average in and buy as much as you can because, you know, this is Luna we're talking about. Jumping into the daily RSI here, as you can see, if I'm just going to zoom out, the pink trend line represents a support trend line that we've been holding once during the May pullback of last year, once during the February pullback this year, and we are potentially going to bounce from this pink trend line once we have more future pullbacks. Now, a support level on the RSI I want you to pay attention to is 39.5. We've held this level multiple times, 1, 2, 2 fake outs, 3, 4. So 4 bounces with 3 fake outs. And yeah, 39.5 is a great level to bounce from. If you see the RSI come back down here, you see a bounce, right? Just put some bits here, right? Buy, and if it goes lower, buy some more. Don't buy all in at one place, right? Because the price can always go lower. Now, let's jump into the daily chart on the Binance website. Okay, now jumping into the daily chart on the Binance. So we do have a support trend line that we need to eyeball over here. So this is 89.37 because this is where we were here. As you can see, if I just extend this trend line, as you can see, we've been bouncing off this trend line for the past couple of weeks, and we can potentially have another bounce from there. And that is where the 55 EMA is currently at the moment. Let me just double check with the trend line here. So yeah, it's basically the same. I was just checking the difference in the 55 EMAs on both charts. Now 89.37, that's something that you need to keep an eye on. Now let's check out some of the oscillators. So the Stochastic Rsi is in the oversold. As you can see, once you're in the oversold like you were over here and over here, you typically see these moves to the upside, as you can see, and that's where you can take profits when you get overbought over here above the index of 80. So always keep that in mind. And based on the stochastic right now, it is a good opportunity. It is a good place to start dollar cost averaging into Terra Luna. So jumping into the daily RSI here, as you can see, we are printing some sort of bearish divergence because you can see, let me just bring out some trend lines so it's easier for you to see. So you do have that. Let me just make that, let that be a white trend line, right? So that is a higher high. But on the RSI, if I do the same thing, as you can see, we're printing a lower high. So this is a bearish divergence, and this is why I think we may potentially have a deeper pullback here. So another support level to look out for is going to be over here, sitting at 78.20. Okay, that's something to look out for. And jumping into the MACD, we just got the bearish cross on the daily chart. So this is something you want to pay attention to, because once we got the bearish cross back on March 14th, we saw a decrease in the price and we saw a downtrend, as you can see, a consolidation period. So that's it for the daily chart, and I quickly want to jump into the weekly chart to show you what's going on over here. So we are quite overextended on the weekly chart here for Terra Luna. As you can see, we are far away from the 20 EMA, so that is where I do want to see a bounce, right? So $75, around $75 is where the 20 EMA is. That, you know, perfectly aligns with some of the other support levels that I gave you in the previous charts. So yeah, look for the 20 EMA. Obviously, we haven't had a bounce off the 55 EMA, which is currently sitting at $50 here. And I don't think we're going to get there, right, unless Bitcoin goes into a deep pullback. And keep in mind, Bitcoin is not in a bear market right now. This is not a bear market, guys. So yeah, that's it for the weekly price action. And as you can see, the RSI was starting to get into the overbought zone, almost started getting into the overbought zone here. So this is actually good in my opinion, because the lower you go here, right, the more upside you're going to have once you start that, you know, bull run mode for Luna. So I think that is great. The stochastic is on its way to the overbought here. As you can see, you were in this oversold zone during the January month of 2022. The MACD got a bullish cross back in March. So from there, we're seeing appreciation in price. And as you can see, we did have a little bit of an overextension here. The gap in between the MACD and the signal line is quite large. As you can see, the last time this was the case back at the end of last year, we saw this capitulation, we saw this move to the downside. So that is pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. If I missed out anything on the charts, please let me know down below in the comment section. feel free to follow me on Patreon. That is a great way to support me, but a great way for you to get more exclusive content. We do personal technical analysis requests, video requests, low cap jump calls, project reviews, market sentiment analysis, and a whole bunch of more stuff. And I do post there daily, so at least 2 posts daily, or 1, 2, 3 posts daily, you know, depends on the day, depends on the news that I'm getting from Ukraine, because sometimes it does get me down and, you know, I'm not really in the mood to record or post anything, to be honest with you. But yeah, hopefully everything is going to be good, guys. Stay safe, and obviously check out the donation links down below as well. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.